On my head, absolutely no script. Just woke up and I'm making this for some weird reason. And this is not a who's my favorite villain tier list. This is a tier list on who I think is the most well written. So of course there's going to be some subjectivity here because what I value is going to be different than what other people value. But for the most part, I'm going to try. Well, I'm going to be using objective reasoning, but my reasoning just won't resonate with some people as it will with others. And hey, that's fine. You can make your own tier list. So A, great, B, good, C, mid, D, bad, F, fail. S is like almost ignore S. S is like unnaturally good, like almost like an unrealistically great villain is what S is. Anyway, Mizuki, he's not a bad villain. He's certainly not great. I'm gonna put Mizuki in good, or maybe mid. The reason I put him in good is because he's integral to like the values that Naruto holds. Same with Zabuza, which we're gonna get to. But he's a one episode villain, and you're gonna notice that throughout this tier list, I don't care about impact that much. I don't think because a character is impactful or a villain is impactful, it therefore makes them good. Like I don't give high marks based upon it, based upon impact. A villain that appears for 5 episodes can be great in my opinion. A villain that appears for 100 episodes or is the most impactful character in the show can be terrible in my opinion. But Mizuki, he's well written for his purpose. It just feels weird. It just feels weird putting him in a good. But for now, that's what I'm gonna do. Gaara, great, no question about it. He's literally a foil to Naruto. A lot of people say Obito is the best foil to Naruto. I think it's hands down Gaara. Bro, there's nothing to say about him. He's great. I could almost put him in S. But instinctively, I feel much better putting him in great. See, this is the weird thing. I would put Kabuto in B, but it feels weird having Mizuki in B with Kabuto. Like when it comes to the list of things that make a villain good, impact is the last thing that I care about. If anything, I care about how you impacted the show rather than your impact in of itself. I think Kabuto is a great villain. He's good, great. If there was like a very good tier, I would put him there. He's just a hoe. Like he's just a spy who's just like a slave to Orochimaru, but he plays that role so well. I think I like Kabuto a lot as a villain. He's very cool. Was he a great You know what? See, and a lot of people go by impact, so it feels very weird putting Kabuto with Gaara. I know in the minds of a lot of people. And if bro, it's fine, whatever. Orochimaru. So Orochimaru is nothing less than great. I'm debating whether or not to put him in S tier. You know what? This makes more sense. So one of the things about Orochimaru, he doesn't really have a well-designed motivation. Not really the best written backstory. But the reason I don't knock him for that is because he's not really the type of villain who presents like so like the in my opinion, there's villains who present a physical a physical challenge to characters, but there's also villains who present more of a mental and like that a philosophical challenge to characters. Orochimaru is not supposed to be a physical challenge, a mental challenge, or a philosophical challenge to characters. He's designed to be a physical challenge, a scary, all-knowing, experimental, physical challenge to the Hidden Leaf. And I think to say that he plays that role well is an understatement. S tier. Like my criteria for S is like all forms of fiction, anime, comics, movie. Like, do you stand out? Do you stand out amongst them? And I don't really feel that way about Orochimaru. And that's why I say kind of ignore S. These are the 5 main. S is for villains who are like abnormally great. Itachi. So I really think Itachi is one of the best villains that I've ever seen in any media ever. Regardless of anime, regardless of book, regardless of movie, I think Itachi is probably the best that I've ever seen. And there's so many reasons as to why you can say that. There's so many elements that make him so great. I think one of the biggest ones is how integral he is to the protagonist, or one of the protagonists, Sasuke. So, one of the reasons I think Sasuke is such a great written villain, in fact, I think Sasuke is a better written villain than Naruto. Sasuke is a better written character than Naruto, is because he has Itachi behind him. But this is going to turn into an exclusively Itachi video, and I just don't want that to happen. So, I'm going to leave him here. But I do think Itachi is a clear-cut S in my opinion. Now, when I think about other forms of media, I can't think of anyone like him at all. You know, you can think about characters who are as great as Orochimaru, or as great as Gaara, but I can't for him. Kasame, just a good villain. Jirobo, good villain. Kimimaro, he's good, but he has the added element of being just like the Sound 4 but cooler, and sort of giving us a look into what Orochimaru wanted. Is he great? I don't think he's great. I put him in good. I'm not even ordering these. The Demon Brothers, mid. Zetsu. I could put him in mid, but I could also put him in B. There's nothing really special about him, but there's not much special about him. The only really special thing about him is he really increases my curiosity. So the first time you see him, you're like, what the heck is this? And on the low, you really want to know more about him. So he's not just I didn't feel that way about these characters. But Zetsu is kind of like that. But at the same time, it feels weird putting Zetsu in the same tier as these guys. So I'm going to put him at C. I don't even want to rank these guys. These are just mid-villains during the 3rd grade Ninja War. Deidara. I think Deidara is a great villain. You know, just like Orochimaru, he doesn't really need a compelling backstory because he doesn't really present that type of challenge to anyone in the series. He's designed to be more of a stuck-up, extremely arrogant, extremely arrogant member of the Akatsuki. And then again, I think he fulfills that purpose well. I think he gave us one of the best fights in the series. I think Sasuke versus Deidara is top 10 easily. Man, I should have wrote a script for this. And then again, I mean, this looks weird, but I do not care about Impact that much. I think it's very common for characters to be very impactful, but to not be well written. And for a character to be not that impactful to the story. But to be extremely well written. And I think that's what Deidara is. I think if anything, his personality is the most unique and greatly written thing about him. That's kind of abnormal. Obviously, he's kind of crazy. But the quirky element of his character, his relationship with Toby, I mean, just great. Sorcery. I think he's good. I'm going to be talking about Impact a lot. So when I say I don't care about Impact, it's not that I don't care about Impact at all. It's just that I care about how you impacted the show or the series rather than whether or not you impacted the series. So somebody could have a great could impact the show a lot, but the way that the impact was shown to the viewer, the way it was done, the reasoning behind it, the reasoning behind what they did, impacting the show, can be very poorly done. I'm going to get to a character who I'm going to rate very low. I'm going to rate low in comparison to others, but Sorcery. I mean, I can't deny what he did to the Sand Village and how it changed the trajectory of the show. And then again, I think the way it was done was very cool and very engaging and very interesting. So it's not like it had terrible exposition where you just said, oh yeah, by the way, I assassinated the third Kazakage. It was almost like a reoccurring theme throughout the entire arc, and I think it was done very well. So the little smidge of me that does care about impact tells me to put him here. Toby, just pretty mid in my opinion. I guess he's funny. Yeah, this is supposed to be like Toby's persona, not Obito's. So, yeah, he's just a cool, funny, purposeless member of the Akatsuki who doesn't do anything. I'm excluding Obito from his character, or like when he gets revealed as like being serious. I'm excluding that. I think he's pretty mid, to be completely honest. Hidan. Honestly, if this was a favoritism, like how much I like them, I'll put Hidan in S. I really like Hidan. I actually do think Hidan is a great villain. I think drawing inspiration from a real religion. Wait, I believe it's real. It's very, very cool. He's just like Deidara in the sense that his personality is very engaging and very interesting. So for what his purpose is in the series, he's like a 11 out of 10. For his role and what he's supposed to be, 11 out of 10 in my opinion. Like, phenomenal. I'm trying to think about the counter arguments and how you put him lower. Then again, the only way you can put him lower is then again impact. But I don't really care about that. Kakuzu, I think Kakuzu was good. He's certainly not bad or mid. I mean, it's just that I don't really like Kakuzu that much, but just like Hidan, the morbid curiosity with he and Hidan probably have the most intriguing abilities, and throughout the entire arc, it really kept you on your toes. You really wanted to see them fight again and understand how the hell are they still alive after dying. It was really cool, and not only cool. I think it was well written because it kept me engaged. So I mean, if I was ranking this on how much I like him, I might even put him mid. But he's for sure well written. Conan. Oof. It's between bad and mid. So one of the things about Conan is she's essentially a dummy, like a bot who just goes along with anything that Nagato says. But Kabuto is the exact same way. The difference with Kabuto is that he embodies that spy role and that assistance role so well. Like personality wise, dialogue wise, it's so like the structure of Kabuto and Konan's character is the same, and I honestly don't think it's that good. But there's so much meat on the bones of Kabuto's structure. He's not that complex, but in his simplicity, he's just so interesting, But Conan is just literally just a significantly worse version of Kabuto. She's not a spy or anything. Her dialogue is not interesting. And for those of you who care about impact, she's not impactful. I feel weird putting her in mid. I don't think she's a mid villain. I actually think she's a bad villain. I don't think she's a failure. I actually like Conan. I'd put her in B based on how much I like her, but I don't think she's a good villain. I don't even think she's a mid villain. I think she's just kind of bad. It's never about her. It's just like Nagato, and then Conan is essentially like, yeah, I agree. Pain. So Pain is 100% in A, if not S. So I actually like Pain more than Itachi. The only issue with Pain is, and this is going to be nitpicky, as I said earlier, I think that characters present a mental, a philosophical, certain characters present a philosophical challenge to protagonists or heroes, but they also present a physical challenge to heroes. Pain's philosophical challenge to Naruto is beyond S tier. It's perfect. One of my issues is that the physical challenge to Naruto, fighting wise, I think their battle was underwhelming. At least the first third or the first half of their battle. I mean, the second half just all bars loose, amazing. And it had the element that was really lacking from the first half, which in my opinion is intensity. So, you can argue that this is more of a power scaling thing, but when it comes to Pain being so nerfed, not trying to kill, not even really trying to hurt Naruto that much during this fight, for me, it made that physical sort of fighting challenge that he presents to Naruto just feel underwhelming. If Pain and Naruto at the very least. If the first half of Pain versus if the first half versus Pain versus Naruto felt like Naruto versus Sasuke, he would 100% be S tier. But because it didn't even really feel like that much of a fight, at least in my opinion, Pain was just trying to capture him. Now this is an extreme nitpick. You could easily put him here. I'm really racking my brain right now. I also think that Pain's motivation and how he comes to his conclusion as to what he wants to do about peace is pretty much perfectly written, is very compelling. I may not agree with him, but I know I see the reasoning, I see the logic, unlike some people who are going to be on this list. But when I think about Pain, I don't see him in this tier with Itachi. And maybe it's because of impact. That little bit of me that does care about impact, although I don't care about it that much. Maybe that's what's like I feel way more comfortable putting him here, like at the top of great. Oh my gosh. I feel way more comfortable putting him here, but I can't like explain why. Like the final battle with Naruto, in my opinion, the first half was just so underwhelming. It also wasn't that intimate because of how much help Naruto had. No, like I get why a lot of these conditions were the way that they were, because if it was like an all out, Naruto's trying to kill Pain, Pain's trying to kill Naruto, Pain's at full power, like Pain probably would have killed Naruto in like 5 minutes. So like I get why, you know, Kishimoto has to nerf him and like make him fight the entire village before fighting Naruto, making it so that Pain can't kill him, giving Naruto all the help, making it so that Pain conveniently uses chaotic Shinra Tensei right before Naruto appears, so he can't even use like his gravitational abilities for the first half of the fight. But him not having those things, him not being anywhere near full power, was just like, I mean, like for a final battle, I want to see that. And not only that, but the explanation and as to why he wasn't at that level was just very like gimmicky. Like Naruto appears like right after chaotic Shinra Tensei. Versus like Itachi, you can say, well, he wasn't at full power in his final battle versus Sasuke. True, but the difference is the reasoning behind it made way more sense, and it didn't bother me nearly as much. It was a part of his plan from literally the beginning of the series to not try, versus him, along with him being sick. So I didn't feel like the author was getting in the way of the fight. You know what I mean? Versus Pain, it certainly felt like Kishimoto was just getting in the way of the fight. That's my only gripe with Pain. Trust me, I like Pain more than Itachi, but and I guess another thing is when I think about just fiction in general, great villains, I do feel like Itachi is in a different category than Pain. And then again, maybe it's impact that we knew about Itachi from the very beginning of the series. But then again, it's not only impact of itself, it's how he was impactful, how he affected Sasuke, another protagonist. I actually do think that it's reasonable to put Itachi in the tier above Pain. I'm sorry. I do think that's possible. And bro, like Itachi's impact with Sasuke, or his effect with Sasuke, extended the entire series. And it was done better than like Pain's impact on Naruto, in my opinion. So much curiosity. Who is this guy? Why did he do that? Like, I seriously do feel like Itachi is in a different tier of a villain than Pain. Although Pain is like, if it was like an A plus, I would put Pain in a separate category than all these guys for sure. For sure. But these guys aren't like bad enough to be just and good. I think they're great villains for what they do. Demon Brothers, or the other Demon Brother, Med, Hanzo, good. Now we get to my nemesis, Obito. Okay, so I do not like Obito at all. If I had to rank him as how much I like him, he'd be like here. I hate this guy. But to take out my subjectivity, how well written do I think he is? So I mean, the number one argument is impact, of course. But like I said, I don't care about impact that much. If anything, I care more about how you impacted the show. Was it well written? Does it make sense? You know, is it, oh, I planned everything from the start with no exposition, no display, no nothing? Or is it like, I planned everything from the start, but you're actually going to see hints of my plan throughout the series? You're going to see little interactions with people. So, like, that's the difference between impact in of itself and well-written impact. So I don't think because Obito is so impactful, he automatically goes in A or S. I'm sorry. So bro, this is gonna be people are gonna hate this tier list, and fair enough. I don't think that Obito's a better written villain than Gaara. Hell no. I don't think he's better written than Hidan. Which sounds crazy. Most people would for sure have him up here with these four. And like, I get it. Impact. I care more about your purpose in the series and to what degree did you fulfill that purpose. Obito was designed to be like Pain and Itachi, a philosophical challenge to Naruto. And a physical challenge. Obviously, like, he actually fights him. The issue with Obito is that his philosophical challenge is absolutely trash. His motivation is absolutely garbage. I feel like it doesn't have to be Pain, but the final villain of Naruto, that villain's ideology should have been Pain's ideology, not Obito's. I think Naruto should have encountered Obito's ideology before he encountered Pain's, because Pain's was much more profound. Obito's is just, my childhood crush died, and I want to see her again. Obito doesn't really want to save the world. He doesn't care about the world. He just wants to see Rin again. If he really wanted to save the world, he wouldn't have turned into a good guy when Naruto said Rin wouldn't want to see you like this. If you notice, when Naruto's talking to Pain and when Naruto's talking to Obito, Naruto doesn't talk about Yayiko because for Pain didn't turn into a bad guy simply because Yayiko died. It was much more than that. Obito turned into a bad guy simply because Rin died and he wants to see her again. And that's why when Naruto's talking to Obito, he's pretty much just talking about Rin. And who he was when he was with Rin and Kakashi and Minato. If you notice, Naruto doesn't do that when he's talking to Pain. Because it wouldn't have worked. Because Pain actually wanted to save the world. Obito doesn't. And he kind of admits this. Naruto says, this is funny. If I can find that, I'll probably put it in the video when I'm editing. Naruto says, "Don't liken yourself to Nagato." I think he says he may be different, but he truly cared about peace. And Obito's like, "Yeah, you're right." I know a lot of people love Obito. I'm trying to take my bias out of it. That's not how much I hate this character. But I can't get past the final villain, or essentially one of the 3 final villains, being motivated by a 12-year-old girl. If Rin had some sort of profound meaning behind her character, it would make more sense. There's no real reason as to why Obito was so madly in love with Rin. And more than that, there's no real compelling reason as to why Rin's death would turn him into what he turned into. Because it's not like Rin and Obito had some sort of profound relationship. It was just a crush. Versus like Pain and Yayiko, or Nagato and Yayiko, Yayiko was more than a friend. Like, Yayiko was an inspiration. Yayiko wasn't ideal. Rin wasn't. Rin was just like a crush that Obito had. And I think that's unacceptable for a final villain. Which is why, although he's way more impactful, when it comes to how well does Obito fulfill his archetype of a philosophical challenge to Naruto, I don't think he's well written. Versus Hidan, who's like way less impactful. He's essentially just like a scrub, but he's designed to be sort of a crazy psychotic member of the Akatsuki who's supposed to spark your curiosity on the Akatsuki. Hidan fulfills that archetype to like 13 out of 10. Honestly, I feel like Obito's just a good villain. I don't think Obito's a great villain. No, I don't. I think all these characters are better written than Obito. I don't care about how much Obito... I don't care about the fact that Obito impacted the series more than them. Like 30 times more than these guys. Or I guess these 4. I care about how the impact happened. And all of Obito's planning, essentially creating the Akatsuki, how it happened, or just the motivate. I mean, you know what? To be fair, I think how it happened was actually fine. I think just the motivation behind it was so garbage. So like, seeing him, scheming behind the scenes, all that was very great. I just don't like the motivation at all. Like, I don't connect to him in the slightest. I connect to Pain, I connect to Gaara, I connect to Itachi. I don't connect to Obito in the slightest. I do not care about you. Like when Yayiko died, I care about Nagato. I care about Gaara. Obito, I care about him in the sense that, oh, his friend died, but that's it. Yayuko's death went way beyond, oh, my friend just died. It was way more than that. Same with Itachi and his family. Like, it's more than, oh, my family died, or it's more than I had to kill my family. Itachi's story is about purpose. I don't think you can compare Itachi and Obito. It's not close. Itachi's a far better written villain than Obito. Itachi's story is about purpose. Conflicting purposes. Itachi's story is about, I understand that I'm a ninja, and my goal as a ninja is to uphold the village. Even if my conflicting purpose, or my conflicting purpose and thus responsibility is to my family, my purpose as a ninja usurps that. It's like the ultimate meaning story. It's not close to Obito at all. They're in two completely different tiers. In my opinion, Pain is close. It's really just like the fighting with Pain that I just. I might just put him here because I'm being kind of a hypocrite because Itachi, holding back as well. But Obito, I'm sorry. I can't. I honestly just want to put him here. But I'm putting him here just because, the fans. The very little that I have. Danzo. I could talk about Obito for hours. Danzo. A tier. I hate Danzo, but you're supposed to hate him. That's how he's written. Danzo and Itachi are very similar, actually. Well, sorry. As a whole, they're not similar, but certain elements of their characters are very similar. Purpose. And all my actions are supposed to be oriented towards that purpose. Danzo's the exact same. But Danzo's just much more gruesome and and I guess you could say more paranoid than Itachi. But I mean, they are somewhat similar in that specific regard. Yes, I think Danzo's a better written villain than Obito, for sure. I guess the only issue with Danzo is motivation. We don't really see it. Except for maybe like jealousy with Hiruzen, but aside from that, we don't really see why he has that type of philosophy. But the philosophy in of itself is fantastic. I hate him, but fantastic. Gold and Silver Brothers, mid. Kabuto, same thing. I think he's good. These 3 or 4, somewhat similar. Or then again, that specific element of like meaning and purpose, very similar. Kabuto's purpose was just to Orochimaru. So when he lost Orochimaru, he's like meaningless, literally. And he just tries to embody Orochimaru, which is why, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that somebody like Itachi was the one who was sent to stop Kabuto. That's not a coincidence. Because, like I said, Itachi's like his entire character is just about meaning and direction and what's your purpose as a person. And Kabuto is someone who struggled with that. It's not a coincidence that Kishimoto made Itachi go stop Kabuto, and the way that he stopped him as well. So I think these 3 characters are probably the most mentally stimulating. I mean, of course, with Pain as well. Madara. So I do not hate Madara. I actually like Madara. I don't think he's this. This is gonna be controversial. I don't think Madara is an S. I think he's an A+++++. Honestly, you can put him here. So my argument against Madara being an S, and being here but not lower is motivation is not well explained. Or sorry, it's well explained. It's not well shown. So if Madara was like to explain this, I think Madara, the structure of his character is fantastic. I think the structure of his backstory is fantastic. I just don't think there's enough meat on the bones, if that makes sense. So the structure is good. There's just not enough meat on the bones. I think Obito's structure is awful, and there's not that much meat on the bones. Madara's structure is good. We just don't get enough of an explanation. So, you know, he and Hashirama create the village system as an antidote to war, essentially. But Madara essentially realizes that, you know what, this is not going to work. We have to find another way. And his way that he found was essentially infinite Tsukiyomi. You know, the village system cannot break the endless cycle of chaos, hate, etc. So he tries to find another way. And I think that's a great, like, structure. We just don't get explanations as to why and, like, exactly what happened. He leaves the village and wants to come back and essentially kill Hashirama. So I'm not even going to say that we don't know why. We do know why. I just wanted more exposition. I wanted a little bit of a deeper explanation. Like him creating the village system with Hashirama was S. But after that, when he leaves the village, it's like, I get it. He didn't really believe in the village anymore. But, like, exactly why didn't he? Oh, they were going to betray the Uchiha. Madara saw it coming. But, like, what? Like, see, like, I want a little bit more specifications. It's not bad. I don't want people to, like, I'm nitpicking him down to an A plus. You're right. So it's not bad in the slightest. I'm just saying, for him to be S, he would be the way he is now, but with, like, Itachi's backstory. Then I put him S. Or with, like, Pain's backstory. Then I put him S. Right? So I guess enough of that. Like, the physical challenge, Madara is essentially presented as the big dog of the Naruto universe. To say he fulfills that would be an understatement. He does like a 15 out of 10 when it comes to doing that. I mean, his dialogue is fantastic. He's very likable, which is subjective, but it still does impact how good of a villain you are, in my opinion. So he's very likable. He's cool. And he's not just all fighting. He does have a backstory. And it's well written. It's just that, like, when he leaves the village, comes back and wants to kill Hashirama, or at the very least get his cells. Well, essentially was willing to kill him to do it. It's like I get it. You want to create infinite Tsukiyomi, but for something that drastic, for such a drastic 180 turnaround, like for example, if we had some episodes where we saw Madara, what he was doing when he left the village, and we got a deep dive into his psyche, like almost like a, what's it called in like a soap opera where a guy, we got like sort of a soliloquy on Madara after he changed his mind, bro, he would be undeniably in S. And hell, I can still put him S now. I'm just being very nitpicky. But I would firmly have him in S. But his turnaround after he created the village was kind of iffy to me. And because of that, I mean, that's essentially his motivation for why he comes back as Edo, why he creates the plans with Obito. And those plans are still the plans, and they're still well written. But for me personally, I can't get it out of the back of my head that's okay. Like, what exactly caused all of this? Like, as you can tell, I care about values and backstory and motivation a lot for characters who are designed to have one. Like, then again, these characters aren't really designed to have any. That's why I don't criticize them for not having one. But for characters who are designed to have one and do have one, but it's not done well, I'm going to criticize them. Like Obito. Like, I want to put him here, but I mean, I'll leave Madara in S. Bro, honestly, I'm just doing this so I don't get hate. I'm probably still gonna get hate anyway. But I would have Itachi up here by himself. I still don't think that Pain and Itachi, that Pain and Madara are actually close to Itachi as a villain. I think he's literally perfect. Literally perfect. So I would have it like this. Like this. So, I mean, I'm gonna finish this, but back to Obito for a second. So I guess the good things about him, I mean, morbid curiosity. He don't know who he is. He has the coolest fighting style. He keeps you engaged every time he's on the screen. He's very interesting. There's no way I could put him in mid. And honestly, because of that, and now I'm thinking about it, there's no way I could put him in good. He's great in that regard. It's just like, then again, the values and the meaning and the backstory is just like, it almost like poisons all of his actions because there's no substance behind it, or no good substance behind it, except a 12-year-old girl who he liked. And then again, that wouldn't really matter that much if he wasn't supposed to be a philosophical challenge to Naruto, but he is. Right? At the end of that arc, well, not even the arc, but at the end of Obito's villain saga, he has that, classic discussion with him. See, like, characters who are primarily designed to be like, or like have like a physical but also a mental / philosophical challenge, they always have like a conversation at the end. Pain, Itachi with Sasuke, Obito. So that's one of the signs of a villain having that particular archetype. And I mean, for me, it just poisons everything else. But he's still great because of that. I hate him. I'd have him in fail or D based upon how much I like him. But as a villain, he is well written. As a villain, he's greatly written. It literally hurts me to say that. The Ten Tails, I don't even consider this a villain. I thought the Ten Tails was a little bit underwhelming, to be honest with you. Mid. Indra. I don't remember much about this guy. Got jealous of his brother. Good. And again, impactful, sure. But how? How was the impact done? How was it handled? I'll put him good. Zetsu. So this is the best example of poor impact. This is why I don't care about how impactful Obito was. Because I don't care about how impactful Black Zetsu was. I don't care about how little impact these characters had. Zetsu has the most impact on the entire series, but it's not done well. It's the perfect example of I planned everything, but there's no exposition. I'm literally a puppet. I have no brains. But yeah, the writer just makes me the most impactful person. He's literally just in my opinion, a far worse version of like Aizen in Bleach, where it's like, yeah, I planned everything, but no cool scenes, no exposition. It just so happened that I was just watching everything from the very beginning. It's and on top of it, there's no real meaning. He's literally just Kaguya's puppet. And it would be better if Kaguya was this philosophical deity. She's not. She's brainless as well. I think Zetsu is a bad villain. Fail? Not a fail. But she's a bad villain. I mean, he's a bad villain. Kaguya, the exact same. Bad villain. I actually might put Kaguya even worse. I might say Kaguya is a fail. I mean, no. So the reason I almost put her in fail is because she doesn't present, then again, any like mental challenge. But I don't knock her for that because she's not really designed to be that way. But like even the physical fighting that she's involved in, her abilities, her challenge to Naruto and Sasuke, in my opinion, isn't done well. Like, I think Naruto and Sasuke vs. Kaguya is the worst fight in the entire series, and it's largely because of how, at least largely, it's the definitely the most underwhelming and one of the worst big fights in the entire series, and it's largely because of how we had a lot of expectations for the final fight, and it just didn't deliver. I mean, choreography wise, like they're supposed to be moving at like light speed. It honestly feels like the animators got tired when they were like writing this fight or like animating this fight. I guess on paper her abilities and everything are very cool and she's very powerful, but honestly it doesn't even feel that way when you're watching the fight or reading the fight. Like I said this before, but if you show someone who never watched anime before or anything, and you showed them like Kaguya moving and like attacking, six past Naruto's clones, versus like Rock Lee attacking Gaara, they will think that Lee was faster. They'll probably think that Lee is stronger. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. If someone is the big dog of the universe, you can't only make them be the big dog on paper. You actually have to make it feel that way based upon the fight. How the fight looks, how the fight is animated, how the fight is choreographed. Kaguya versus Naruto and Sasuke does not feel that way at all, except for like swapping dimensions, but that's about it. What's the guy's name? Gato? I think he's a good villain. He's sort of the impetus behind, I guess you can say it's Zabuza Haku, which I'm going to get to, but kind of the impetus behind Naruto's new ninja way. It's sort of like, well, ninja are more than tools, and for Naruto to gain the ideology, you have to have somebody who believes that ninja are tools, and that's Gato. That's why I think he's well written. I think he's better than Mid. Sasuke, up there with his brother. Perfect villain. Maybe A. Damn, I'm getting tired. Bro, what can I say about Sasuke? Okay, so I guess we should start with flaws. There's not many. Like, everything Sasuke does makes perfect sense to me. There's impact. The impact is done well. The dialogue is phenomenal. The abilities are cool. The foil to Naruto. Sasuke's perfect. The conclusion he comes to at the end of the series with Naruto, like before and after the fight, perfect. Makes perfect sense to me. Reasonable. I mean, I agree, but reasonable. It's a reasonable impetus behind his actions, so his actions don't feel poisoned like Obito's do. You know, after he got his EMS and saw Itachi, he was confused. You know, how could Itachi still call himself a hidden leaf ninja when they cause him so much pain? And Itachi's explanation is essentially, well, it doesn't matter what the pain is. What matters is my responsibility as a ninja. Which is why, I mean, Sasuke was asking, okay, well, what the hell is a ninja then? What's your responsibility? And it's somebody who endures, right? And upholds the village system. Which is what Itachi did over his family. Sasuke is Sasuke understands that, and I think I mean, he somewhat agrees with that, which is why he goes and helps during the war. Him wanting revolution is essentially, well, okay, I see what Itachi was saying. Part of the problem with the ninja world is this entire cycle of hatred. So we need to literally like restart the ninja world. Essentially, is Sasuke's mindset, and he literally says, "Well, revolution." It makes a lot of sense to me. Is, you know, he's wrong. It's evil, which is why he's a villain. But, you know, there's a reasonable line of logic there. Like with all these guys. Except for him. I'm trying to think of a way to put him in S. I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. I might just have to leave him in A. So an area, mid. I did not watch Boruto. What is this? Shin? I can't remember this guy's name. I'm not gonna rank him. Zappa's on Haku. Great villains. I sort of already went over it. Zaku. I think they're just puppets of Orochimaru. I mean, they made the Trinity Zones very interesting. I'll say they're good villains. Not if there was like a C plus, I'd put them there. Yes, by that logic, I could put Toby in good as well, because he is very just like Obito. There's like the element of curiosity. Do not watch Boruto. Not ranking those. This is my tier list. You know, if I did this again, it would probably be completely different. Like I said, I just woke up. And there's always going to be people, there's no objective tier list. There's always going to be people who will try to use objective reasoning like I did here. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still going to be an element of subjectivity. Because the things that I care about, the things that I think a villain or a character needs may actually be the same thing that you think a character needs, but you may value it more than me, or I may value something more than you. And based upon that, you can put a character above where I put him and vice versa. Right? So, I mean, for me, the reoccurring theme is, I don't care about purpose. I mean, impact. I do not care about impact that much. Like, overall impact, I kind of care. I really, barely care about it. And then how the impact occurs, I care about somewhat. More than anything, I care about how well you fulfill your archetype. If you're supposed to be like a philosophical challenge or like an idealistic challenge to a character, well, what motivated you to take on your ideology? How were the scenes that caused you to gain that ideology? Then again, for Obito, I keep thinking about reasons to put him higher. I mean, this is not really in any particular order. Kind of, I guess. I guess I'll put him here. I mean, the scene with Kakashi stabbing Rin, you have to give that credit, right? Although I don't think it's nearly as profound as Nagato stabbing Yahiko, for example. Because then again, the meaning behind it versus Rin, there's a girl that I like for no real reason, versus Yahiko, it's a much more profound reason. I'm trying to brainstorm ways to put Obito lower. I do think all these characters are 100% better written than Obito. Alright, that's it for me.